The views and comments of the hosts and guests are not necessarily those of the station.
You are watching the multi-awarded Radio Bandido TV on channel 224 Sky Cable and TV Plus boxes. Simulcast on DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Informing, advising, and entertaining the Filipinos and OFWs around the world. Streaming live on www.facebook.com/DZRJ 8:10 a.m. or on YouTube, channel DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Radio Bandido.
Ako po si 𝗲𝘂𝗴𝗱. Iniimbitahan ko po kayong manood ng Pugad Vloggers sa DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Radio Bandido TV.
Watch and listen to Pugad Vloggers Monday to Friday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Airing on Sky Cable Channel 224 and on all DTT boxes. Simulcasting online on Facebook and YouTube. Listen and watch on your mobile devices. Just search DZRJ Radio Bandido.
Pugad Vloggers, Pugad Vloggers, ako raming titirisin, salot sa bayan wawalisin, walang sasantuhin, ang saya-saya nakakabaliw, kasama natin ang tropa. Pugad Vloggers, Pugad Vloggers.
And we're live! Magandang gabi po sa lahat ng ating mga kapugad, sa aking mga kakulto, sa lahat ng fans ni Professor 𝗲𝘂𝗴𝗱 na laging banas. Ikaw na lang daw magpresidente. At of course, itong ating guest ngayon ay pareho nating ibinoto as president. Alam natin yan pareho. Good evening po and welcome back, our President, 𝗕𝗹𝗲𝗴𝗲𝗲. Hi, sir!
Oh, happy to be here, ha? Happy to be here, mga Lodi.
Tawagin tayo mga Lodi, Papi. Ano ba yan?
Oh, hindi ba? So anyway, glad to be here at we're looking forward to having yung matinong discussion and hopefully mapag-usapan natin ang mga kailangan mapag-usapan. Of course, not necessarily in-depth, but at least magbigay tayo ng contour, no? Kung medyo makita natin kung ano talaga yung dapat makita natin.
Yes. Yeah. Papi, mag-hello ka na sa mga fans mong palaging bumubula yung bibig.
Magandang gabi po sa lahat ng nanonood sa Pugad Vloggers ngayon. Good evening sa ating special guest, Sir 𝗕𝗹𝗲𝗱. Sabi nga ni Maricar, binoto kayo namin. Kayong binoto namin noong 2022 elections. I mean, I'm just one person, but I don't take elections lightly. Yung votes ko, I'd rather not vote than vote for a person who doesn't deserve my vote. And I really felt that you deserved my vote, so that's why I gave it to you. So magandang gabi po sa ating lahat.
Good evening, good evening.
Same here. Sir, actually, the reason, I already mentioned it to you, and thank you nga po pala sa inyong impromptu na pag-yes dito sa aming invitation. It was, remember you said that you were not sure, Prof, na makaka-join ka tonight.
Yeah.
And of course, ako naman ready naman ako na mag-isa, kaya lang there was a discussion on my wall that I mentioned my president, Ernie Abella. And then, he immediately messaged me, sabi niya, I got you, Maricar. And then I thought, sabi ko, this is, again, kasi lagi naman siyang, in fairness talaga, madaling kausapin pagdating sa guesting. And sabi ko sa kanya, tonight would be a very good night kasi I think it's good. It's a good thing for us to actually be able to explain why Tatay Digong actually put 𝗕𝗃𝗴𝗱𝗲𝗂 in two different but very, very important positions nung administration ni Tatay. First, he was the Speaker of the House. I'm sorry, presidential spokesperson. Sorry.
Delikado yan.
Presidential spokesperson, and then, pasensya na ha, medyo may nagminumulto ako ng speaker eh. So, and the second one, you were in DFA.
Correct.
Undersecretary kayo doon, sir.
Okay.
And right now, with the foreign policies that are quite, well, aminin ko na, ako personally, on my viewpoint, it is a catastrophe. Whatever it is that I am looking at dito sa administration na to with regards to foreign policy, it's really catastrophic. And I actually said that word with all constraints, at yan ay pinaka-decente na po pwede kong masabi right now. And marami kasi na-frustrate po. Sorry, Paps, mauna ako ha. Mamaya ikaw naman ang mag-sundo.
Good.
Marami ang na-frustrate, Mr. Abella, na maraming promises ang administration na to of continuity that actually never transpired. And that's one of the very thing that is doon nagkakaroon ng grudge ngayon yung mga tao. And every day you can see it in in most walls, di ba? Na wala naman nangyari doon sa promises, wala nangyari doon sa continuity na pinromise. And one of the things that you can help us understand is if you were our president right now, which among the good things that Tatay Digong did for the country are you going to continue? As per your history with his administration.
Right. Van, you want to add to that?
Hindi ko muna. I'll just announce her afterwards.
Siguro, setting aside whether I was president or not, president ngayon, ang masasabi ko siguro is there were certain things that were very key in the past administration. Malinaw kasi, PRRD was known for his very, sabi nga ni Obama, colorful language. O yan, sige na, okay na, tanggapin na natin yung colorful language niya. Pero kung titingnan mo talaga, meron kasi siyang connect at meron siyang pananaw. Malinaw talaga yung pananaw niya eh. Like for example, people think na lang siya na basta bigla-bigla na lang out of nowhere may hinuhugot siya na gagawin natin ito, gagawin natin. Actually hindi. Actually, meron siyang paraan na mag-isip. He's rather, very rational actually siya. Whether he had the capacity to carry things out, he was pretty rational. Kasi, yung rationality was based on a historical understanding. Matindi si PRRD. Malalim ang kanyang hugot. You might not agree. You might not agree with his understanding, pero meron siyang pag-iintindi. At ang kanya kasi, tinitingnan niya kung saan nagmumula yung kalagayan ngayon na saan pinanggalingan dati. Hindi ba? May pinanggalingan yan eh. May hugot. So, kung meron siyang sinasabi ngayon at meron siyang kilos at meron siyang direksyon ngayon, meron kasi siyang pinanggagalingan na dapat makorek. Actually, siya yung tunay na rectify. Siya we need to correct something. No, we need to correct something. Ngayon, katulad nito, during the campaigns, I don't know if you remember, I'm sure you remember, pinag-uusapan yung Buddha ho, yung massacre sa mga Muslim, nung minasakar yung mga Muslim. Of course, when you listen to him, it sounded as if he was just talking about the Muslims. Pero actually, he was talking about the Muslims as part of the Filipino nation.
That's
So,
correct.
whether
Indeed.
Muslim, Pilipino yan.
That's correct.
Yung pinagpapatay ng mga Muslim, and there are about 300 to 700,000 na pinatay, especially doon sa may Buddha, na ang sinasabi niya, ito ay gawain ng mga, ito bunga nung, how do you call it, the imperialist ambitions of the US dati-dati. Nung hindi pa sila na-settle kung anong gagawin nila. Kaya lang, naging ano talaga tayo, naging ang Pilipino, naging collateral damage habang nililinaw nila sa kanilang utak kung should we keep the Philippines, should we not, until what's his name, one of the presidents said, nangusap sa akin ng Diyos that we should keep the Philippines. Kaya lang, tandaan natin that as a democracy, they had competing interests, no? Competing interests na, ayan, okay, having said that, ang ano talaga, ever since last century, the 20th century, ang foreign policy talaga ng Kano, biglang luminaw para sa kanila. Naging malinaw sa kanila. For example, gusto nilang, ang tinatawag nilang, gusto nilang ilaganap ang tinatawag nilang liberal democracy. Ang liberal democracy, gusto nilang tanggapin ng buong mundo. Okay? Tanggapin ng buong mundo yung liberal democracy kasi number one, it will merong mga prerequisites yan Open yourself to free trade, whether you can afford it or not. You open yourself to free trade, and you know, well, to have an aside with Maricar, we're not that kind of girl. You know, we don't open to everybody. We shouldn't anyway. Pero you know, open up to free trade, privatization. You know, yung privatization yan. Tsaka, there's a third one. Pero basically, because of that, yung ganong klaseng pagpapalaganap, especially after World War II, doon tayo na-apektuhan. Kasi yung kanilang part of their policy was that na sige, kumbaga they realized the power of money. They realized the power of money na kumbaga sige, pinautang tayo ng pinautang hanggang hindi na tayo makalabas ngayon papasok sila. Itong pag hindi mo na kayang bayaran, papasok sila. O paano ngayon yan? Hindi ba may ex-deal tayo. Ang ex-deal naman nila, yung mga natural resources mo, yung mga negosyo mo. And I'm jumping forward. Pero katulad niya, ngayong Marso, may parating na trade mission, tama? Tingnan niyo yung composition nung mga delegates nila. Pati tingnan niyo kung sino paparito, si Gina Raimondo mismo. Yung kanilang head of trade. I mean, what's so special about the Philippines suddenly?
Yeah.
Suddenly, we're very, very special. Okay. But apparently, all these things, si PRRD understood. He understood. Kaya pagpunta namin when we went to Beijing on a state visit, bigla niya binagsak yung sabi niya, I declare that we are separating from the US. Okay. No, okay, sabihin natin, hindi Pino ang pagkasabi, hindi, okay, gulpi-gulat, o lahat-lahat. Pero meron kasi siyang gustong mangyari. Ngayon, siguro the perfect picture to capture yung position ni PRRD dati was yung cartoon na lumabas sa South China Morning Post. Na andun si PRRD between two boats, US at China, tapos tumutuloy doon sa lubid na ganun, balancing. Yun ang kanyang foreign policy, Maricar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Huwag kang pumanig lang sa isa. Tumulay ka tumulay ka man sa alambre, pero somehow you maintain yung lagi yung sinasabi, maintain independent foreign policy. Pero para sa kanya, hindi lang salita yon.
That's correct.
Yung talagang position niya yon. And he was willing to risk grabe ang mga risk niya. Uy, yung grabe yung nire-risk niya. So ang puntos ko, if there's anything at all that made an impression on me, it's a personal perception. It should be, it is to continue his independent foreign policy. Kasi whether you like it or not, independent foreign policy is a reflection of domestic policy.
Indeed.
Hindi ba? So kung ito yung position mo, kung dinidepensahan mo yung foreign policy mo, ibig sabihin, tinatayuan mo rin ang ikabubuti ng sarili mong bayan. Dapat malinaw.
Indeed, yes.
Hindi kalat.
Yes.
Hindi siya magiging
Yes.
kalat. It is always a reflection of domestic policy. Now, going back, what do I think we should maintain? Yes, we should. It should be continued, the independent foreign policy. At the same time, paano mo naman paiigtingin ang iyong foreign policy? Hindi mo kaya lumaban.
That's correct.
Hindi mo kaya lumaban. Katulad dito ngayon, may mga hawks tayo. Alam mo yung mga puso, hindi nga bagay sa atin kasi hindi galing sa puso yung pagka-hawk natin eh.
That's
Correct.
Hindi, of course we say yes, of course I understand maraming Pilipino ang masimpatya sa US. I understand that. We get that, no? Alam na natin kung saan pinanggagalingan yan. Pero ang unang-una dapat maisoli ang pinupuntos ni 𝗕𝗹𝗴𝗱 was that dapat dapat paigtingin talaga muna ang loob.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
Paigtingin ang
Of
loob.
course. Yes, yes.
And para sa akin, kung susunod talaga, kung ano yung, I suppose your next question would be, so what should be done? Para sa akin, it's all somehow connected with
Yeah.
agriculture, education, research, tsaka, like, for example, agriculture, research. In fact, tomorrow I'm inviting, what's his name, si Richard Mata for meron akong kapihan. I don't know if you know about it.
Yes, yes.
We're talking about,
Talk show niyo, yes.
we're talking about batang malusog, matalino, tsaka ano. So ang puntos niyan is agriculture, we should be strengthening agriculture and education for the sake of the next generation so that man lang, meron tayong, kahit na hindi pa tayo malakas ngayon, we can look forward to strengthening the Philippines for the next 5, 10, 15, kahit na isang
Foundation.
Yes. Kasi ituloy natin yung laban sa foreign policy natin. So konektado lahat yan. So in other words, the backbone should be a strong vision for the nation na kaya natin tayuan.
And its population. Yeah. Prof, sige, alam ko marami kang gustong kasi napapag-usapan natin to palagi. Itong mga binanggit ni Sec Abella. Okay, go ahead please.
May wala, yung main, baka kasi hindi alam ni Sir Ernie, by profession, yung main job ko talaga as I'm a history professor, but I also studied international relations. Actually, a master's degree ko is in international relations. Okay. That's why I understand everything that you were saying. Actually, yung pinapaliwanag nga ni Sir Abella, there's a group of theorists in the field of international relations na pinopromote yung ganyang exactly what he was explaining to us. Kaso hindi sila masyadong mainstream na group of theoreticians. Ang tawag dun sa kanila, ang school nila ay post-classical realism. Anyway. So, pero ako, I'm a little bit more interested in Sir Ernie kasi parang alam niyo sir hindi ko kayo kilala kasi nung unang panahon talaga. I mean, you suddenly burst into the scene in 2016 and it seemed like nobody knew who you were, di ba, no?
Correct.
Tapos ang naging trademark niyo talaga noon was that very calm presence, alam mo yun, as presidential spokesperson, na parang night and day kayo ni President Duterte, no? President Duterte is very fiery, alam mo yun, daming profanity, ganon. Pagkatapos, biglang pasok yung presidential spokesperson niya. Very calm, di ba? Tapos if I understand it correctly, ang background nyo pa ay medyo may pagka-religious, di ba? No? So,
I used to be a minister.
parang feeling ko, wow, no? Ganda. Sinadya po ba yun? I mean, was that, I mean, more personal ito, no? Sinadya ba na pinili kayo ni President Duterte as the spokesperson? Kasi parang siguro baka, ano ba to, na-realize na ba na I'm going to be very loud, so I need a sort of as my ikayo ang spokesperson kasi is the main alter ego of the president, kasi the spokesperson speaks for the president, di ba, no? Ano po ba, can you tell us about it, kasi ako curious po talaga eh.
Very simple, Van. Actually, nung in 2016, no, he was already elected president. I was talking with somebody from Davao. Tapos sabi niya, Ern, uwi ka na rito sa Davao, sabi ka noon. Andito si Digong, masaya rito, sabi ko. Sabi ko, gusto ko nga magsilbi. Sabi ko, saan gusto mong gawin? Sabi ko, gusto ko lang speech writer. That's all I wanted to do was speech writing. Tapos sabi niya, sabi, halika mag-usap kayo. Di nag-usap nga, I went to Davao. I flew from Tagaytay, I went to Davao. And then, so, nagkataon naman na dala-dala ko rin yung CV ko. Anyway, tapos, ang unang tanong sa akin ni PRD, sabi niya, actually, hindi ako naghahanap ng speechwriter. Sinabi ka agad niya, sabi ko, talo na. Wala, hindi pala eh. Ba't pa ako nandito? Hindi ba? Tapos sabi, naghahanap ako ng spokesperson. Tapos sabi niya, kasi sabi niya ganito, nakita ko, sabi niya, na kung ano yung sinasabi ko, hindi yun na lumalabas sa periodiko.
Correct.
Yeah, that's correct.
Sabi niya na lagi na babaliktad. Tapos sabi niya, pwede ka ba magpaiwan? Sabi niya ngayong gabi. Kasi meron akong press con. Makinig ka lang, sabi makikita. Tapos sabi niya, pakinggan mo bukas sa sasabihin nila. So nagpaiwan nga ako. Tapos nakinig ako. True enough, yung sinabi niya was already twisted out of context.
Yes.
So sabi niya, that's what I need. So sabi niya, I need somebody. Now, tapos sabi niya, aside from to clarify himself, but sinabi niya, kailangan ko rin, sabi niya, na ako kasi palaaway. Ito yung sinasabi mo, Van. Ako palaaway. Ikaw hindi pwedeng palaaway. So, ang trabaho ko, tiga-kalma. So, yun naman ang ginampa. Tapos sinabi ko rin naman sa mga tao, the first day that I was a spokesperson, sabi ko, I promise, hindi ako magsisinungaling sa inyo. Pero pag hindi ko sinagot yung tanong nyo, ibig sabihin, hindi ko alam, o hindi pwedeng sabihin, o mamaya-maya ako nasasabihin. Parang ganon. Pero malinaw yun, ang kanyang sinabi sa akin. Para malinaw yung sinasabi, at saka so the natives won't be agitated.
Yes. Actually, Sek, ganun din yung nangyari sa isa sunod mong department eh. Medyo mabulaklak din ang bibig ni Daddy Boy, di ba? At kung ka rin napadpad, mukhang talagang attractive ang iyong personality dito sa mga guest ka namin na. Isa pang, di ba, mabulaklak din ang bibig namin ni Prof. Van. I'm not sure if you can read this.
Dinamay mo pa ako. Joke.
It looks like yun ang attraction ni para siya nagki-cleanse sa ating lahat. Anyway, well, okay, so Prof. Van, kanina kasi may sinabi si Sec Abella na gusto ko lang na kargahan ng konti, and I think kasi matagal na natin din pinag-uusapan ito with regards to doon sa backboning, diba?
Yeah.
Sa backbone, how are we go? It has to start somewhere. everything has to start somewhere. And before we even have any foreign policy, tama ka naman dun talaga, sir. Kung wala tayong in-house improvement, we cannot improve anything else outside.
Yeah.
Totoo yun. And we will not be able to project ourselves as a strong nation if inside we are corroding. And tama yun. Ngayon, kasi nga, yun din ang reason, at least kami ni Prof. Van, and I'm pretty certain ikaw din, that we supported the drug war. Kasi isa sa pinakamalaking sumisira ng bansa natin was the drugs that was so prolific nung time. And worse ngayon pa nga actually, no? Sadly. Pero nung time na yun yung pinaka-prominent problem for decades na never in-address ng ibang tao. Never in-address ng kahit sinong politiko. Inilagan niya ng napakarami. Even for those people na I thought I was really admiring. I was wondering nung nagsalita, bakit kahit kailan di nila binanggit ang drugs? And that is also, I think that explains why a lot of Filipinos really supported the war on drugs of that time, because they understood you really wanted to fix yung internal, katulad na sinasabi mo, sir, kanina. And and in the same manner, maswerte na nga lang din si President Rodrigo Duterte noon, na nakasabay din niya, na isa pang, actually marami siya nakasabay na presidente dati na may ano din, di ba? May negative stance against drugs. Even Trump. And of course, Putin, si Xi Jinping, di ba, malakas ang campaign nila against drugs. So it actually was a very good stint that you were in, I gotta say. And it was, kaya ang sarap mong tanungin what happened during that time na hindi namin nakita sa pahayagan, hindi namin nakita sa TV, hindi namin narinig sa radyo, naman nangyari nung time na yon. And balik po tayo, if it is okay, Prof. Van, balik tayo doon sa yung expectation ng mga tao that continuity, na continuity na wala nangyari. And apart from his foreign policies, if you want to expound on it, we will be very, very fine. But apart from that, what else could you have done? Kung ikaw, kaya ako tinatanong ako ikaw kasi binoto ka namin pareho. And that is the reason why we voted for you, is because we thought that since you are a very good member of Tatay's cabinet, very, very pristine ang record mo, we would have thought that, if there's somebody who would have continued the good projects of Tatay Digong, it would have been you.
Technically, and I'm sure Van knows this, no? Yung like for example, kasi alam mo, ang dami kasi, iba talaga ang kwento sa likod, no?
Yeah.
Iba talaga yung kwento sa likod. Tapos whether you like it or not, meron talagang mga external forces na nagmamaniobra sa iyo. Maliban dyan, marupok na nga sa labas, marupok din sa loob. So para nagkaintindihan yung karupukan. So tulad niyan, for example, among other things, this you understand. Yung for example, corruption. Hindi masyadong kita sa labas yung corruption sa atin, di ba? Yung corruption kasi sa atin tago. Basically, pero marami naman nag-expose. Yung tinatawag nilang rentier. Yung the rent, yung patong, for example, yung gagawa ng pulisya na pabor sa sarili mo, pabor sa negosyo mo.
That's correct.
So nakatago lahat yun kasi puro legal, ang gagaling, puro lawyer nga tayo rito.
Yes.
Ang gagaling. So kumbaga malaki talaga yan, malaki talaga yan. Pero isang nagustuhan kong ginawa ni PRRD, yung tinatawag na sample.
Yeah, that's correct.
Di ba?
That's correct.
Kunyari, gusto mo talaga, you want to send a message. Actually, nagkaroon na ng message tungkol sa drugs. Ang sana sunod-sunod, yung sample sa loob ng mga departamento.
That's correct.
And that can still be done. Sample lang talaga. We don't have to cover everything. Pero isang talaga then something that you really drill down all the way down.
That's correct.
Ito mo, titino talaga yan.
That's
Kasi,
correct.
tapos para, syempre, habang tinito niya, kumbaga, sabi nga nila, palitan natin struktura para magbabago rin yung kilos. You know, behavior follows structure. Parang ganon. So, ang ano ko is, sana tinuloy yung graft and yung anti-corruption.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dapat tuloy-tuloy ang anti-corruption. Tapos, siyempre, pangalawa, yung ano talaga kasi, makikita kasi, mararamdaman kasi ng tao, hindi mararamdaman, kung talagang pinapaboran mo kasi sila you know.
That's correct. That's correct.
Katulad nito may sabihin na, ito simple, matagal ko na pinag-uusapan to, para akong lumang tugtugin talaga, sirang plaka talaga dito. You know, kung titignan mo kasi yung hunger map ng Pilipinas, ang Visayas sa Mindanao talaga, diyan talaga ang hunger.
Correct.
So kung pwede, doon natin simulan yung meron talaga tayong mga hubs, mga super agricultural hubs na kung saan doon nakadikit na lahat. Tapos mag-sample din tayo na it's possible. Correct. Na mga talaga isang lugar. Alam mo, katulad niya sa farm area, pwede. Yung makikita tayo sa kapatiran natin, paano lang natin doon. Tapos, it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be ethnic Basta't lang, kung umunlad talagang pumasok, makakain ba ng gusto. Alam mo, isang nagawa ng China, can you imagine, they raised 700 million people out of poverty and hunger. Tayo 17 million lang Actually, nakakatakot kasi about a few years ago, 12 million lang yun. Tapos in a few years, naging 17 million. I don't know kung ilan na nakakaranas ng gutom. So kung pwede, sana gawing project talaga yan. Hindi lang yung mag-i-import tayo ng ganito, mag-i-import tayo. Kung baga, pwede bang makakain yung tao natin? Ganun lang kasimple. Yun ang talaga mararamdaman. May pagkain, may bigas, may kung ano, yung may ulam, may ganito, may ganyan. Tsaka kung pwede, alam mo kasi, wala naman kasing hindi nadadala sa usapan Yun ang katulad ng isda, no? Dapat buong Pilipinas talaga sagana sa isda.
That's true.
You know, pero hindi makipag-usap tayo. Ating din naman lahat yan hindi ba? Ating lahat. Kumbaga, pwedeng kausapin Hindi kasi kailangang idaan sa dahas. Ang nangyayari kasi, itong dapat matuto tayo, na baka, anong tawag nito, baka, ang kinatatakot ko, Van, and this I think you understand, and also, of course, Maricar, na, alam mo, baka, dahan-dahan tayong, we're sliding into a proxy war.
That's correct.
It is already very evident, sir.
I'm trying to be as calm as possible. No,
we cannot, pasensya na po, but with all due respect, sir, we should really tell the people the proper things that they're supposed to know by now.
Correct.
Because we have been, we have not been, being helped by the media, by the government. Pare-pareho sila nagko-cover ng reality na yun. And the entire world outside of the Philippines is talking about the potential that we will be the next Ukraine. Yeah. That's no longer a secret. So we probably should, feel free to talk about this, sir.
I understand. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to lay it out step by step, para masundan natin ng maayos. So basically, katulad yan, kung pakikinggan kasi natin, bakit ba nangyari ano ba nangyari sa Ukraine? Ang nangyari sa Ukraine, dahil sa talaga naudyok ng West o ng US, naudyok ng West ang US, ang Russia, na uminvade dahil kung ito yung Russia, yung border niya is Ukraine, tama? Tapos you become part of NATO, tapos yung ganito. So ang nanguna na what's his name, Putin, decided to act rationally and protect his interests. Hindi ba? Laging sinasabi kasi dyan, remember, ang US mismo if it will happen to the US, they would not tolerate, during the Cuban crisis. Talagang pinaalis nila yung Russian mga doon. Ngayon, ang delikado sa kanila kasi is mukhang aalisin ang pagkakantindi natin, gusto nilang makaalis sa Ukraine at mag-concentrate dito. Pero
Yes.
ang estilo kasi nila, hindi sila lumalaban talaga. Meron silang
True.
kinukumpang piyon.
Yeah.
Meron silang piyon at yun ang yun ang pinapain. And guess kung sino yung piyon? Hindi ba?
Yeah. Sir, I've been trying to piece together what you've been telling us this
Oh.
evening, ang ewan ko kung mag-agree kayo sa pagkakaintindi ko sa sinasabi nyo. Actually parang ang understanding ko sa sinasabi nyo sa atin ngayon, sa mga nanonood sa atin, nakikinig sa atin ngayon, is that as long as the country is weak inside, wala tayong strength to resist yung pressures coming from the outside. So kung tama ang pagkakaintindi ko sa sinasabi nyo, is that we need to focus on certain important problems on the inside, kasi that will give us strength and leverage to say no to yung mga foreign influences na ganyan. Now, let me ask you, I think you already mentioned agriculture and a few other
Education, health.
Kaso ako kasi, sir, yung nakikita ko sa agriculture, parang after decades of neglect, parang ang hirap i-turn around nung agriculture natin, But I want to pick your brain kung kung kasi alam mo, yung mga presidents, they only have 6 years, di ba? They only have 6 years. 6 years may sound like a lot of time for some people, but it's not, di ba? I think you know that.
No, it's not.
So, tatanungin ko po kayo, pasensya na kung medyo biglaan yung person, But kung mag-iisip tayo ng mga areas following yung sinasabi nyo nga, na focus more on internal problems first so that we can strengthen ourselves to resist foreign interference in our country. Ano po bang mga areas ang mga doable, Yung doable, yung mga where we can see immediate change, kasi pag naghahanap talaga tayo ng ng mga biglaan. Kasi naintindihan ko din sinabi niyo tungkol kay President Duterte na dinaan sa gulat, di ba? Sa gulat yung mga tao so that mag-create ka ng ripple of change, di ba? Kasi gulatin mo yung mga tao, mag-adjust sila, tapos tuloy-tuloy na yun, But I want to ask, ano po ba tingin nyo mga doable changes, Doable changes. For example, 2025 is just next year, May midterm election yan. Ano bang mga doable changes, let's say, after 2025?
Well, ganito, right now, if you're asking for there's a basket that can be done. There's a basket that can be done. A whole basket full of solutions. Pero may tanong lang ako sa iyo, Bana. Ito, let it be an interchange. Hindi,
Yes, sir.
Let it be an interchange. So, in a list of 1, 2, 3, ano sa palagay mo ang top priorities ng tao puro sa bayan?
Well, yung stomach nila, that's the number one.
Tama, yeah.
Stomach?
Safety.
Ano yung safety, Maricar? Ano yung safety niyon?
From the crimes, ang dami ng crimes ngayon, and of course the threat that is about to get inside the country. Tsaka number 3, yung compromise natin sa gaano ba tayo ka-compromised? How kasi yung gusto ko tanungin kanina habang nagkasalita si Prof. Banser. Yeah, if we can do something to empower ourselves para hindi tayo kayan-kayanan at hindi tayo pwedeng basta utusan lang that hey, you cannot go against us. Pumasok kami dito, you have to deal with us, you have to say what we want you to do. You have to do what we want you to do. How badly are we compromised? Ako at least yung sa akin. Yung number 1, gutom. Number 2 natin talaga yung security natin. Wala na security. People do not feel secure anymore. And siguro yung pangatlong pinaka na natin dito is yung natin, yung may pera pa ba na naiwan para doon sa mga papasok?
Wala, ate. Wala.
Ako, let me add mine, sa number 1 nga, yung gutom. Pero ako, ewan ko medyo abstract yung iba kong nakikita. Ang nakikita ko kasi, sir, ganito. So for example, I drive my car around Metro Manila, no? I look at yung mga drivers, particularly yung mga motorcycle riders, yung mga yung mga nagse-serve, yung service na nagfe-ferry sila ng mga passengers ay mga delivery riders. Parang feeling ko napaka-ano nila, no? Napaka-reckless nila sa kanilang pagmamaneho. At feeling ko, I don't blame them eh. Parang feeling ko kasi, parang para sa kanila, napakamura ng value ng life. Alam mo yun? Kasi they don't see in the future, whether near future or long-term future, di nila nakikita na magbabago yung life nila eh. Kasi ako alam mo yung mga educated, yung mga middle class, hindi magre-risk ng ganyan eh. Kasi feeling nila, why would I risk my life for something na so fleeting na ganyan? I have a full life ahead of me, no? So parang ang gusto ko sabihin, parang ang daming mga Filipinos na parang nawalan ng pag-asa na magbabago yung ano nila, no? Na magbabago yung lot in life nila, no? And I think yung President Duterte gave them hope eh, no? Gave them hope. So ako parang feeling ko yun eh, yung gutom, yung sense of hope na yun. At yung number 3 ko, I think, connected din with number 2, yung trust in the government. Alam mo yan, yung trust in the government that, alam mo kasi yung pag-intao, nagkakaganyan yan. Pag walang tiwala yan sa gobyerno niya, na makaya siyang tulungan ng gobyerno na
Similarly, Papi, yun nga yung sinasabi ko dun sa insecurity eh. Sa insecurity, kahit yung doon sa may duda ako kung may natira pa bang pera, that falls under that category. May trust ba ako sa gobyerno? Kasi mukhang wala nang naiwan, mukhang nabaon tayo lalo sa utang, at mukhang wala nang naiwan na ano tawag dito, start-up fund para kudusin sa paparating. And it looks like they don't want anybody to get in. Walang papalit sa 2028. Mukhang sila pa rin. Mukhang ganun. So there goes again, the trust against the sitting government. So doon umiikot. And FYI, it's the same. Kahit pa iba-iba siguro yung concern namin. Kaya nagkataon kasi yung insecurity, napakadaming branches eh. Kasi there is absolutely no trust.
We'll try to answer that.
And no security coming from the public with the government right now. Pasensya na po kung masyadong loaded.
No. We understand that. Siyempre, ang dami nating dala-dala. That's totally understandable.
Opo.
Okay. Pero actually, all of this is all of a piece.
Yeah.
Ano kasi, you have to understand,
Yes.
we have to understand na, ang tingin kasi natin sa sarili natin that we are an independent entity, no? Na para meron tayong talagang, kaya natin to. In a sense, yes. But actually, structurally, talagang pasok tayo sa yung kanilang global, sa kanilang global supply chain. Kasama talaga tayo. We're just a simple cog. And whether you like it or not, we are in the scheme of things. In the scheme of things, the Philippines is only a provider of low-skilled, low-paid workers.
Yeah.
Kaya ang education natin is dumbed down. Wala tayong critical thinking. Kaya patay ang agri para ang mga tao sa bukid ipapadala sa labas. Ganun lang kasimple yan. May pera bang papasok? Meron kasi papautangin tayo because ipiprint lang naman nila ang pera.
Yeah.
Ipiprint lang ang pera. Pero ang kapalit niyan, yung ating mga natural resources. Kasi number 4 tayo sa natural resources in the whole world eh. So ngayon, hindi pa gusto pa nila ipapasok ngayon yung puro mga renewable energy. Siyempre, bagong drama yan. Kasi, medyo gas-gas na yung kanilang fossil fuel. So ngayon, puro renewables. Yung puro renewable na yan, actually, mas maggasto pa talaga. It's going to be as expensive as anything. Pero kasi, provider kasi tayo, marami tayong raw mat. So, mangyayari, kung may perang ipapasok to make it operational. Pati siguro, pero kasama na dyan lahat na, kahit sabihin mo, conspiracy theory, gusto nilang kumonti ang tao. Hindi ba?
That's true. That's true. I've been hearing that in all avenues of media right now, sir. Na talagang merong
Let me try to finish before I lose my train.
Oh, sorry.
let me first, okay na, ang puntos ko dito, and going back, let's say, to tanong ni Van, katulad yung gutom, hope, and trust, ang ano talaga, Van, I keep going back to a statement made by Joe Almonte, the former National Security Advisor of, what's his name, of FBI.
Ramos,
Sabi niya, what we need is a confident national identity.
that's correct.
Alam mo, for example, bakit ba the only thing going for Ukraine right now is, sila Ukrainian tayo, paglaban natin to. Sa palagay mo, pagdating dito, ipaglalaban tayo ng mga kapwa natin. Pero alam mo, kasi we don't see katulad, precisely because of what you said, wala tayong pag-asa, wala tayong hope. So we would just welcome, pati masyado tayong nagawa tayong dependent.
Yeah.
Kulang tayo sa agency. Kulang tayo sa kaya tayo umelib kay bilib tayo kay Digong kasi si Digong pwersa.
That's correct.
Kaya kulang, kaya dito lagi sinasabi tamad o kumbaga wala tayong image of strength na nakukuha. Walang image, kaya walang pag-asa. So if we want to do something, and I think if like you said 6 years lang alam mo ang inaano ko what I propose is that a group of like-minded patriots like you will make a national covenant na kahit na hindi pa mapapalitan, let's say, yung ating political structure, na yung susunod na tatakbo ay meron tayong ilalatag na pananaw para sa bayan at ang susunod na presidente, mangyari man kung sino siya, gagawin rin niya katulad ng ginawa nila sa Singapore. Hindi ba sa Singapore, hindi ang sabi nila, sige, si 𝗕𝗂𝗴𝗱 will become a senior advisor. Ikaw, like you, I'm also a dreamer. Kasi, kung idadaan pa natin, pero kung pwede magkaroon tayo ng pambansang usapan, pambansang tipan, that we could make a social contract. I know it sounds weird, pero alam mo, ang Pilipino, willing, basta't meron lang pananaw. Basta't willing sumugal. Isugal natin na tayo, gumawa tayo. Ang akin kasi, ang dami talagang problema sa gilid. Ang dami talagang problema sa gilid. Kaya lang, kung magkaisa tayo, alam mo, hindi sa ang kailangan kasi talaga is a good leader and a good party.
That's correct, sir.
Well, ex-JP, hindi ba? Well,
That's correct, sir.
You need a good, aside from a leader with a vision, you need a party. You need a party with a platform.
Yeah. Sir, if I may interrupt now, well, eto kasi history kasi ang aking background.
Go ahead.
I agree with what you're saying na national covenant, yung an agreement that generations of Filipinos will abide by, etc. Kaso ang problema historically, no? Again and again, no? Binibetray ng politicians ang Filipino people
I agree.
That's the problem Binibetray ng Filipino, no? That's why nawawalan ng pag-asa yung And I think yun yung strength ni President Duterte kasi President Duterte was able to make the Filipino people trust him and trust the government.
Trust the government, yes.
Yun. So ang problema kasi, sir, is that yun nga nakita natin, once President Duterte left, wala na yung mga napag-agrihan, no, yung continuity, hindi na tinuloy. Alam mo yun? Yun yung problem.
And kung pwede ko lang po isingit, another problem with that is, ikaw, sir, Professor ka, alam mo, aware ka, katulad nung sinabi ni Sec Abella kanina, dinumb down yung ating education system. So whatever, yung comprehension ng regular na tao sa kung anong maganda at saka if it doesn't appeal to them on the teleserye level or on the showbiz level of it will not stick So it has to be really something creative. It has to be something that And it has to have, again, ayan na naman po tayo doon sa leader nga katulad ng sinabi. It should be a strong one. It should be a convincing one. It should be a very, very, iron-fisted one. Kasi otherwise, wala. Nagawa natin kay so,
yung kay
may
Digong,
potential.
yung kay Digong, alam mo, merong nagkaisa eh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nagkaisa. Actually, kaya lang, bumigay dahil may mga weak link.
Yeah.
Nagkaroon ng weak
At
link.
naistorbo pa ng pandemya.
Hindi pa. Lahat na yan. Pero nakita natin na pwede.
Yeah.
Actually, pwede. Actually, yung PDP, sana dumiretso na silang gumawa ng plataforma. Hindi ba? Sana may matinong plataforma. Sana, kunyari nag-slide down yung isa, sana sinundan na lang at sige, gawin natin to. Kaso mo lang, ito yung sinasabi na, yung tanong ni Maricar kanina, are we compromised? Hindi mo kasi masasagot ko ano yung niluloob ng isang tao. Hindi mo masabi. Pero in terms of actual proseso, nangyari ate. Nanalo ka hindi ba? Nanalo yung nagkaroon ng unity. Kaya lang nagkaroon ng bitak ba tawag yan? It broke, Yeah. It broke. Simply because apparently there was no intention from the very beginning. It was simply a political ploy. But it tells us that it can work.
Yeah.
The other thing kasi is, ang hirap kasi nagkukwento tayo ng ganito kasi may nakikinig hindi ba? Whether you like it or not, meron talagang kumikilos galing sa labas para ilagay talaga sa pwesto. Meron talaga niyan. Itong pinag-uusapan natin, iniligay sa pwesto kasi yan.
Correct.
Inilagay sa pwesto. Kaya lang, ang akin kasi, mahirap naman kasi kumuha lang tayo ng pag-asa. Kailangan talaga, meron talaga tayong, kahit na drugi, yung talagang walang-wala na tayo. Dapat,
Pero may tatanong ako sa'yo, kasi dito medyo wala, sorry Prof. Van, sasabihin ko talaga to, nawalan ka na ng tiwala dito at nawalan ka ng believe. You don't believe in people power anymore. Do you still believe in the people, not the people power, branded people power in EDSA? Do you still believe that people has power, sir?
Of course, I believe that. Ang ano lang talaga is, you need, pero kaso, kung titingnan mo, coming from where I am at the edges, right now, kulang ng anong tawag nito? Kulang ng mass.
Yeah.
Kulang ng mass. Kasi, whether you like it or not, hindi pa ganun kagutom ang tao. Kasi may perang pumapasok eh.
Yeah.
May perang pumapasok. Hindi ganun kagutom. Kaya ang mga katulad, isa pa. Alam mo yung sinabi ni Van kanina, yung Grab, yung Grab services. Yan eh, hulog ng langit para sa DNE eh.
That's correct.
Hulog ng langit. Kasi kumbaga, bahala kayo sa buhay dyan, bahala kayo dyan, basta't kami, okay lang kami, parang gano'n. So kumbaga, sa baba, walang ferment. May ferment sa middle class.
That's correct.
May ferment sa middle class. Tapos sa taas naman, as usual, ito yung they live in a different world altogether.
Yes.
So, ito nagkakaroon ng agitation. But I'll tell you what, if you keep agitating, pwede kasing bumaba yan. Pwede bumaba. Now, ang puntos ko lang dyan is, kaya ako sinasabi yung medyo long story, yung medyo magkaroon tayo ng long perspective. Kasi, yung social change is really long. It's really a process. It
is.
It's a process. Ngayon, pero ang masabi ko, actually, the fact that we can talk like this is an amazing development, social development. The fact that we can, hindi tayo, so anyway, hulog pa rin ito ng langit. Hulog pa rin ito ng langit para sa atin. So, anyway, ang puntos ko is, pwedeng may I'm just taking the short, medium, and long term, parang korporasyon. I'm thinking of it like a corporation. Alam kong maikli talaga yung 6 years. Alam ko talaga. But on the other hand, I think talo tayo if we think we can achieve change in 6 years. We can achieve.
Yes.
And that's why, if anything at all, if you guys, Van, sige, itayo mo na yung partido. Para magkaroon na katulad din sinabi ni kailangan magkaroon ng consciousness raising. I know it sounds long term, pero like they said, Rome was not built in a day, hindi ba? Grabe naman, final
Alright.
words.
Yeah, mabilis po talaga. Mabilis talaga po ang oras kapag kausap, lalo na tayo pag nag-uusap tayo. Prof. Van, this is the third time na nakausap ko si 𝗕𝗃𝗴𝗱, and this will not be the last. I think dapat natin tong sundan, because a lot of our questions were not even touched. Pero, alam mo, Sec, palagi ko, gets ko na ngayon kung bakit yung mga puro ayuda ginagawa ni Tambaluslos. Ang target niya yung sa ilalim na ayaw mag-format. Anyway, yun, yun lang po yung final words ko. Anyway,
Kanina ka paggalit, Maricar. Kanina ka paggalit.
May tanong lang ako para bago tayo magtapos. Van, ano yung position mo? Sabi mo yung akin is a realist, quote-unquote, post-classic realist position.
No, I agree with you, sir. I agree with you, sir.
Ay, very
Kaya
good.
nga familiar ako dun sa literature because I wrote an article about that. Kaya ako familiar. I agree
Padala
with
mo
you.
naman sa messenger ko. Friends ba tayo sa
Sige, sir.
I will connect the two of you. Promise, I will.
Hindi ako na-add eh. I will add you, sorry.
Sige,
I will connect the two of you later pagkatapos nito. Ayan. Matagal na, long overdue. Sa lahat po ng aming mga kapugad, sa lahat ng aking mga kakulto, sa lahat ng nagmamahal kay Prof. Van at may crush kay 𝗕𝗃𝗴𝗱𝗲. Maraming salamat po sa pag-join ninyo. This will happen again. And for now, we will say good night. Thank you sa lahat and magandang gabi.
Pugad Vloggers, ang kurap titirisin, salot sa bayan wawalisin, walang sasantuhin, ang saya-saya nakakabaliw, kasama natin ang tropang Pugad Vloggers. Pugad Vloggers.
The views and comments of the hosts and guests are not necessarily those of the station.